Hello, real estate investor. This is Edwin. In this video, we are going to be covering the profile or your profile. In the last video, I covered that briefly, and today we're going to go a little bit more in depth. So when you're in your portal, go up here to the top right-hand side, and you can click on my user profile. And this opens up your user profile. Now, this is really important because for several reasons, all the information that you put in here will automatically be plugged in to any new loan request that you make. So if you're going to make a new loan request, you don't have to put all this information into every single loan. Again, this is the power of our platform. And why we're so excited that you're able to use this and gain access to this, because you can really control all the data and, more importantly, update the data. So this makes it very handy and easy as you're updating. Now, that being said, I do want to point out, if you go in and let's say you're just filling out a new loan application and you have not updated this, let's say you changed email addresses or you changed phone numbers, which is probably more common, or maybe you even moved. If you don't update it here, every time you create a new loan file, this is the place where it's pulling the data. So if you're getting frustrated because every time you fill out a new loan application, it's got email address or phone numbers that are outdated, addresses that are wrong, this is where you can go to keep that information up to date and current. So very important. Across the top, you have your 5 different tabs. There may be more or less depending on your level of access and what you are doing with the company. But at the end of the day, these are the primary tabs across the top, and you'll want to go through and update all this information. So go over here to background information. Of course, you'll notice that that's pretty common in a lot of loan applications. You'll make sure that it's up to date here and then click Save and Next. And every time you fill out a loan application, that information will be up to date. Now, this is really neat. In our entity information, we know that a lot of investors like to create new entities for every single deal, and then maybe you will reuse a couple of those entities over and over. So this allows you to go in and create entities as you see fit. You can have the name, all the pertinent information and data that is necessary for the entity, as well as the members of the entity. So that's that entity, and then here's entity info for number 2. So to show you how easy this is, all you would do is add a new entity. Let's say you're going to do a partnership. So Bob Borrower, entity 3. Make sure you select the type of entity and then the date of formation. Let's say it'll be the 1st this month. And let's say it's being in Nevada. It's a Nevada entity. And then let's say you do have your entity reference number. It's just a very long conglomerate of numbers and letters. And then let's go ahead and say, here's your address. And let's say it's in Mobile, Alabama is where the entity is actually, your office is located at. Excuse me. And then right here is where you can add your members. So this is really neat. You can go in and you can add as many as you need. So if you've got like several partners that are going into an entity that is going to be owning, let's say, rentals or something like that, you can go in. The name, you'll want to do your full name. So just separate it with a space, and then the title, you can either spell it out full. You could do the, just the acronym. And then of course you're going to want to make sure you do your percentage of ownership. Let's say Bob the borrower is partnering up with Sally Sue. And then of course the full, make sure it's the full address. It's not just this. Sometimes in your loan application, it'll automatically default to just a street address. So you'll want to make sure that you actually put in the full address here. Where the member lives. So this is the member's actual physical address, the member of the entity. And we will confirm that because we, of course, going to ask for driver's license for all members of the entity. So the driver's license has to match this, as well as the address must be a personal residence address. No PMBs are allowed. No Nothing where it's a corporate address or anything like that. This is the member's personal addresses. If you have a member that does not want to give up their personal address, that will cause complications. So I just wanted to be upfront with you about that. Make sure that all this information is put in to the best of your knowledge. And then you would click save. And now you have your third entity. So you can create these entities as many as you need. And then inside the loan application, which we'll show you later, it is very easy to select the entity. All you have to do is begin typing in the name of the entity, and it will automatically fill in all this information once it picks it up. All right, the fourth tab across the top is your experience. This is important, and we do ask that you are detailed with this information. Fill all of this information out. If you've got the experience, then let us know, what you're doing, because you might not always do the same type of loans. You may be requesting a rental loan this time, but maybe in a couple of months, you're going to be doing a fix and flip. Well, we're going to want to know what your experience on fix and flip is. So this is a great way to go in and knock out all the expected experience questions. That way you can go ahead and answer all of those for us. And when you're filling out the loan application, again, all of that automatically populates. Typical transactions, this helps us, especially in the pre-approval process. If we're already doing loans with you, you don't really have to worry about this because we're doing the loans with you. There may be cases to where we want to know what your typical transaction is for simple awareness of the type of loan request that you're giving us at that moment. If your typical transaction is a purchase between 75 and 125, and you come to us with a loan request for a purchase of 400,000, and maybe your typical construction cost is between 25 and 45, and the construction cost on this one's going to be 100 plus. Those are yellow flags that we need to dive into to make sure that that's the type of loan that we want to walk down that path with you, and make sure that you're not getting over leveraged yourself. So this does not populate on the loan application. However, this will be very important as far as what type of loan request we can expeditiously say, yes, we can do this type of loan with you. Any changes that you make, you always want to make sure that you click Save and Next. And then, of course, your assets. We understand that these will change over time, but keeping this up to date as best as you can, again, will help streamline the loan application process even faster and really give us the down and dirty, exactly what we need to make a decision as far as your liquidity and can you handle the project that you're requesting a loan for. For instance, in the case that I just mentioned, where you're purchasing a property for $400,000, your construction budget is $100,000. Right now, your financial situation, the way that things are laid out, that would not be a wise move on your part, and we would let you know that. So, by having this information here, it again just helps the determination factor that much quicker to happen. And so, again, that expedites you being able to make a decision whether you're going to use this for funding or whether there's another solution for you. And this is the My Profile. So those are the 5 tabs across the top. Again, we would highly encourage you. This should probably be one of the very first things that you update and make sure that you are set and ready to go for your loan request. The next video, we are actually going to cover the pipeline and dive into that, and excited about that.